Hey guys, welcome back to Balloonhead Productions here on YouTube for yet another video. My name is Marcelo Souza, your master of ceremonies as usual, and I'd like to welcome you to my review for Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, Season 3, Episode 4, entitled "A Space Adventure Hour." But guys, if you've been here before with me on my channel, you know that I'm not alone when I review Star Trek. So, with that in mind, I would like to welcome back um, my friend PJ. How's it going, PJ?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm great. So, this episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds basically has the crew, basically has Pike's Enterprise crew having to test out what I guess is a prototype of a holodeck for the first time ever. What are your thoughts on this episode?
Well, I don't like the opening because
Mhm.
not knowing exactly what it was, it seemed like a parody of Star Trek, but a very bad one. And we find out later that this show, which is in a hollow novel itself, that might be the excuse for why it's so corny and cheesy. But Paul Wesley is doing a really bad impression of William Shatner, and I know the intention is to pay homage to the show and Shatner and the cheesiness of the 60s, but it's taken a little too far. And maybe the excuse for that is that it is a story within a story. It's kind of like Galaxy Quest. When you actually see the show Galaxy Quest, you see how corny it actually is. And like,
Right,
how
right,
could
right.
these aliens mistake this for anything realistic, you know?
Mhm.
Uh, but the whole idea of, okay, Starfleet wants to test out the holodeck. The holodeck is something in this time that exists on just star bases. There's another name for it, the recreation room. Maybe holodeck is a newer name they're giving it. So they want to test this out on ships, and they decide to test it out on the Enterprise. I'm wondering when the Enterprise in the episode or in the season got this equipment. Maybe when they were off for 3 months. Like, here's all the holodeck parts. You know, build it, and then they finally built it. I don't know. It's just strange how like it's there and it takes up like a good bit of space. I I don't bump up against the fact that they're testing a holodeck on the ship now because in the animated series, which is considered canon, they have a recreation room on the Enterprise, which is basically the holodeck. And if you want to consider that canon, that's only 9 years away from this. This is 2261. So it would make sense. So canon wise, I don't really bump up against it. I wish they had shown the holodeck with more limitations. And it is kind of foolish to test out such a powerful thing that is usually on star bases on a ship, knowing that it would cause problems. Maybe not to the extent that they thought, but it is a test. As Pike says, I was a test pilot, and like you got to push it. So they task La'an with pushing the holodeck to test it, and she doesn't quite know what to do yet. She's wearing this monitoring pin, and she's dancing with Spock again. And then at the end of it, it looks like they're gonna kiss, but then she's like, "Oh, Melanie Moon." I think it is what it is, Melanie Moon. So she read these detective books. This outsider girl
Mhm.
who trouble followed her, and she solved mysteries and murders and stuff like that. So she's like, "I'll go." She goes to Scotty and program this stuff in there. And Scotty's like, "We got to use the avatars of the crew because quick fix." When technically you think AI would just be able to do that, create random
Right.
characters at this point. But whatever. It's an excuse to have the actors have some fun. That's all fine and good enough. I'm all set up for it. Then when she
Yeah,
gets into it,
sorry. No, no, go
then
ahead.
I'll just one more thing. Then when she gets into the holodeck and the murder mystery and everything going on in there, that's where the episode lost me.
Okay. No, listen, I really, really, really like this conceit by Strange New Worlds. I I have I'm totally with you. I don't know where Starfleet would get the equipment to bring a proto holodeck onto the ship and to have this crew test it out. I did like the thematic uh, similarities to Dixon Hill and with Lon having her own spunky ass detective that uh, uh, she could essentially dress up as to test out the holodeck. Um, yeah, look, I love but I hate this episode. So I'm really 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 kind of in the middle. With all that, I do like your point about how this episode echoes, in a sense, the movie Galaxy Quest. Uh, um, in that it's a movie within a movie, but in this case, it's a show within a show. So I did appreciate that aspect to it. But when we got to the holodeck, I really, really, really liked some of it, but not all of it.
Yeah, and the basic story within the within the murder mystery is that I believe the producer who canceled this television series, this cheesy sci-fi show called The Last Frontier, and the producer is played by Anson Mount, and he's like TK Bookums or something. I can't remember. TK something. TK Buttons. I don't know. I really don't
He's
care
yeah,
about
yeah,
the names.
yeah,
Yes, but he's an
yeah.
allegory for Gene Roddenberry, and uh, there is a very funny part where he gets the call that they're going to be canceled, and he's like, ah! When they cut to him doing that, I actually burst out. Like, it's one of the genuinely funny moments. And the way he talks, he's doing a very, very exaggerated impression of how Gene Roddenberry was so soft spoken and kind of had a high voice.
Hmm.
But he, it didn't occur to me that that's what it was happening the first time I saw it. Somebody pointed that out. I'm like, oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he's the creator of the show. He would be Gene Roddenberry. Yeah, duh. And that was fun. Uh, and basically, somebody's killed a producer, and Molly Moon, or what is it, Melanie Moon, has to figure
Melanie
out.
Moon, I think. I think it's
Yeah,
Melanie
Melanie
Moon.
Moon has to figure out who the killer is. But they borrow from an episode of TNG called Elementary Dear Data, as well as The Big Goodbye.
Mm.
Elementary Dear Data, I think, is season 2, and The Big Goodbye is season 1. The Big Goodbye, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the first TNG delving into the holodeck. Like, Picard is like, oh, the smells and the touches and like everything was real. Now in this, you notice that she's like, I can practically smell the cigar smoke and the this and that, which means she can't, which means this is a somewhat early version of the holodeck where everything's tactile
Hmm.
and to the point where if safety protocols are disengaged, you can get hurt, like it can hurt you.
Right.
But it's not to the point where I don't think you can smell people. I don't think you can feel body heat, which is why at the end when La'an hugs Spock, she
That doesn't make
finally
any sense.
realizes, wait, I'm hugging a hologram. I can feel this. I can feel that this is not real. Like the
Right.
tact, like even the touch of the uniform would be accurate. It's just
Hmm.
the aura or the body heat of somebody that they couldn't replicate until years later. Because in TNG, the way they react to this newer holodeck is like, wow, like it's so smell, touch, taste. You can drink things. It's not only force fields and tractor beams and holograms, it's also replicated matter that can be interacted with, that can disappear just as fast, or something you ingest. Like it could be a literal holographic glass with real wine in it. You know what I mean? That's how advanced it is in TNG times. They don't
Right.
go there here, and I appreciate that. But that's as much as I appreciate in terms of the episode, the way they deal with the holodeck, the way Scotty's dealing with it. And there's a cute scene, man, where he goes to her on the bridge, and I'm like, more than Spock and La'an or Spock and anybody else, these two should hook up. I like these two
Yeah.
as a couple. That they're cute together.
Yeah, look, I actually did notice those inconsistencies with this early version of the holodeck, just like you did. But I kind of put those aside because I
No, they're
really,
not in. They're
really
not inconsistencies. I must correct you on that. They are clever. I'm saying they're a positive thing because they're
right,
showing that it's not like TNG is so much further in the future. They're showing
right,
a holodeck that at first glance appears to be just as advanced, but she can smell things like they can in the other holodeck. And when she touches Spock, she knows that he's not real. That's when she
hmm
got the clues before because he was so aloof and indifferent, and he didn't look at
right.
her the same way because they're developing a romance with the dancing. What do you think of
Right.
that? What do you think of them kind of getting
Yeah,
together?
look. I really like La'an and Spock together. And for anybody who has been watching my reviews or any guest appearances that I've done on any other channels, I was a diehard Christine and Spock shipper, and this relationship really, really took me by surprise. I don't know how long they're gonna have that relationship because in TOS, Spock mentions it doesn't mention Lon, so I don't know if this is going to be uh I don't know if Lon is going to be Spock's pride and joy for the rest of the series, but I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it.
I think La'an is
Because
going to die in the fifth season.
probably, probably,
I wouldn't be surprised if they kept them together for that whole time.
right.
Maybe they have it this season and they break up by the end. Maybe he falls in love with her and realizes that he can't uh, work with her because he's emotionally compromised or something. Like he realized, oh
I,
yeah, I kind of made the same mistake with Christine. I'm not going
right,
to let that happen again. And by the time we get to TOS, he's really not doing much in terms of getting it until the Pon farr comes along. You know.
right. Or maybe Christine's death is what makes Spock so emotional to
Not
chat.
Christine.
So,
Not Christine. La'an.
oh,
Christine
thank
can't.
you.
Chapel can't die. She's in TOS, but La'an is not. I'm saying that's why I think maybe. But she is in season 4 and 5. So there you go. Maybe by 5 she's gone. They have to kill off a
Right.
few people. They really do because they can't
Yeah, they do.
unless they go away. They get another job somewhere else. Some of
Mhm.
these people have to go. We know Mbenga's not gonna die. We know certain characters that are in TOS just can't. But who
Right.
knows with these guys? They'll do anything.
Right. But what I was going to say is that maybe if Laan dies at the end of Strange New Worlds, that explains why Spock is so devoid of emotion towards Chapel at the beginning of TOS. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, that would even like if they got them together and like kept them together, maybe on and off or something. But like that's the romance that the fans want. Like La'an and so much better than Chapel and Spock is La'an and Spock. People are gonna love that. And by the
Hmm.
way, it totally makes sense narratively. I know I complain about. I don't want him to be lovelorn. I don't think he's gonna be this time. I think it's gonna be one of these things where he's gonna be a Mac Daddy, and if anything, he's gonna break it off and say, and she's gonna
Hmm.
be like, "No, I need you, Spock. I need that Vulcan, you know, that Vulcan love."
Yeah. That Vulcanness.
Clearly,
Yeah,
they want Spock getting laid all the time.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
do.
Pretty much. Um, you, I know you said you didn't like pretty much anything once the holodeck stuff started, but is there anything in there that you found amusing?
Yeah, just the ends when it got to the point where they confront Ensign Mount. And he's like, "I'm a
Mhm,
writer. I'm never happy," or something. And
mhm,
he's kind of drunk with the gun at the end, and yeah, that saves it a little bit. But I do like the situation outside the holodeck and how they're simply observing a neutron, the collapse of a neutron star, and they Scotty's like keeping it on the down low how messed up this is making the ship, and he refuses to kind of get help openly, and he asks for advice and stuff like that. That's that's more comedic, I find, than what was going on in the holodeck.
mhm.
And the solution is that, oh, the computer tricked, uh, the computer cheated. Really, the computer didn't do its job in terms of creating a challenging story. It should have created a challenging story within the context of the Melanie Moon books, and it shouldn't like in Elementary Dear Data. Moriarty is written as one of the most intelligent people in the world that ever
Yep.
exists. So when an AI is like, okay, you want the smartest Moriarty I can come up with? Well, he's gonna know about he's gonna know he's a hologram. He's gonna know about the arch. He's gonna know how to fuck with the ship.
He's gonna know
In
about
this
everything.
case, in this case, the AI is just an asshole. Ha! I won't create a story for Melanie with any of the characters in Melanie Moon, but I'll trick her into thinking her real friend is there, and that's malicious and weird. And yeah, uh, it's I just the context of how this characters play out stuff. Um, I do I do like the kind of okay, what Rebecca Romaine. She's like Lucille Ball in a
Lucille Ball,
sense,
right?
and certain characters represent archetypes of the time. It's almost like Mbenga is like playing a Jimi Hendrix type character that one of the actresses is hooking up with, and there's tabloid news about them and all this stuff. This sleazy Hollywood stuff that's going on in the time that emulated stuff that was really going on in 1969.
Right.
There's some interest in that, but the dialogue and the exchange and the characters were just not interesting. Uh, However, like I said, this Scott, the play Scotty in this is really good. This is his best
Mm.
performance yet in terms of what he has to deal with and how it's executed. And the show is shot again. The show is shot very well.
Impeccably.
They know how to move the camera. They know how to keep it still. They know when the music is also good. The outtakes at the end, I have to admit, when he's trying to do Paul Wesley's trying to do the Riker maneuver, and there's all these out. Some of that's amusing, but this is a type of episode that's so meta, and it's to the point now where Star Trek is so self-aware. It's like the live action Lower Decks, and I can
It's
accept that Lower Decks.
it's nauseating to a point. how
And
how
there's
how self-aware is how self-aware current Star Trek is.
th- that's I don't mean to sound mean here, and I'm sorry in advance.
It's okay.
But that speech that Ahura's character, who she's an agent, a talent agent, her talking about this science fiction show inspires and it shouldn't have been canceled and blah blah blah, everything you would say about Star Trek. That some little kid's not going to see this and want to reach for the stars and yada yada yada. I don't buy it in the context of this narrative. I know it's well intentioned and bravo. Yes, Star Trek is special. That's what she's saying. It's an allegory for Star Trek. It's an allegory talking about an allegory. Anyway, but
Yeah, yeah,
the problem
yeah.
with that is that she's talking about a show that we've seen a clip from that is so beyond shit and cheesy that it doesn't hold a candle. Like, say you can't compare it to actual Star Trek, and I feel sometimes that the people behind it are like, looking back on the '60s stuff and not really understanding it the way say I do or you do, more like philosophically and kind of taking away all the 60s cheesiness and getting down to the like nitty gritty of the storytelling. I think that that goes over their heads sometimes, and literally all they see is Shatner's bad acting and all the silly kind of crazy looking stuff, because there's a lot of people in Star Trek like guest stars who are like wide-eyed and screaming and sweaty, and like a lot of that stuff is very over the top, and you look back and it's like, oh, this is, wow, they really went for it, didn't they? But you have to look at it in that context, and some people don't. They just look at it, oh, that was cheesy, and I feel like they're poking fun at it with the best intentions, but it seems a, I can't help but feel a bit insulted as someone who appreciates the old stuff, even though I did grow up in TNG. But it's
Yeah,
so meta
look.
now.
Yeah. Look, I actually think that to enjoy this season of Strange New Worlds in particular, and um, and we're in the fourth episode, so we're almost midway, right? Our next episode is like the midway point. You really, really, really have to fucking let things go. If you are if you are a Star Trek fan like me and PJ are. But with that being said, I do understand how you feel with the speech that Uhura's holodeck character gives to La'an when she's dressed up in the detective uniform. That speech was like really, really good, but like you said, it was a um
So painfully on the nose.
thank you. It was, yeah, so painful I know. It was like it was ridiculous. I felt I felt I felt emotional because um I felt emotional because I had uh um the same experience with not only Star Trek but another TV show. But if but if I didn't have that experience, let's say someone who's not me is watching is watching this episode, that speech has no weight to it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah.
it's and it's hard to get mad at how self-aware it is, but it's one of these deals where it seems like, now, don't get me wrong, it seems like their understanding of Trek and how to make episodes and how to come up with ideas for episodes lately has been, let's recycle something people already know because that's the safe bet. Now,
Hmm.
they did it with the Gorn, and Akiva Goldsman gleefully admits to retconning the Gorn just to make them monsters, because in Arena, the original episode, TOS episode in which they appear, uh, the non-lizards are in the wrong. Uh, the humans don't realize they're encroaching on Gorn territory, and Gorn are just trying to defend themselves. That's the revelation at the end. They're not monsters. They're actually, it's implied that they're benevolent and are only attacking because they have to. Now, they do Trelane. Okay, fun episode, very well put together episode. Probably the best written episode of the season. I know people really don't like it because Trelane and Q, it makes kind of like the first encounter with Q in a in an encounter at Farpoint less special. If like, oh, now we know that the original series guys just met another Q, and oh, and then before then even Pike met the Q, and it's like, all right. Then you got the third episode, something new in the show, yeah, zombies, but that's been done to death. And uh, Klingons again, good, makeup's good, can't complain there. Then we get here where it's just, let's do a holodeck episode. It's like, why don't you just do a Strange New Worlds?
Yeah.
Why don't you? It's the strange part is certainly
Yeah.
the what the show is very strange, but there's not very much new things that we haven't seen. And hopefully in the next episode that will change.
I'm so happy that you said that because you and I have been you and I have been harking on that for weeks. As we've been going through these episodes very slowly. There is nothing new in Strange New Worlds, and I do understand that Akiba Goldsman outwardly admitted that he retconned the Gorn, but the thing is, now I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Maybe he wanted to do something new, and maybe him and Alano, maybe Akiva Goldsman and Henry Alonso Myers wanted to do something new, but CBS didn't let them. I mean,
No,
shit,
they
shit, that's reaching.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, he's Akiva Goldsman is very clear. They wanted to use the Gorn because it was part of TOS canon, and
Right,
they genuinely thought people would like this. But then when they had
right,
the chest bursters and the and then they had like the vision of the Predator from the Predator series, people were just like, oh,
right.
this is just a ripoff. But they did manage to make the adult Gorn somewhat good. And they're still not interesting. They're still kind of just like mindless monsters that Pike defeated quite easily at the end of the episode. By the way, it's good that they're so
Mhm,
easily influenced by light bursts. But plot device, plot device. Uh,
mhm.
but yeah, season one, they go to a couple of places where like, okay, never seen this before. Season two has some of that, but season three is nothing but recycled content. Even this episode,
Mm, yeah.
it's elementary dear data, it's the big goodbye, it's probably it's where in the world is Carmen San Diego.
Yeah, yeah,
Where in
yeah.
the world?
I was really Lon looked exactly like that. I mean, she looked good enough to eat, but she looked exactly like that, like a Carmen San Diego. So look, I know I keep asking this question every time we sit down to do one of these discussions, but where do where do you think the show is going to go next?
Well, I know Corby's going to be in the next episode. They're going to go to a place and it's going to be strange and new apparently. That's all I know. I've
Okay.
read the reviews for the first 5 episodes and episode 5 seems to be the one that stands above the previous 4. Oh,
The one that we
I
want.
hope that's true.
The one that we
I don't want to
want.
keep watching this and being like, when are we going to get a good episode? And you know what? Those people out there who love this particular
Yeah.
episode, they just eat it up. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's good. I'm glad because
I'm glad.
Strange New Worlds does this thing where it's like some of it's not for me, but it's definitely for others. And then something I will like, a more serious, darker episode. Other people are like, no, I like the fun stuff. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. And maybe that's why there's all these rumors that, or this indication that season 4 leans very heavily into comedy. And basically, it's just a comedy going forward. And we're gonna look back in these first 3 seasons as like the good, the good seasons of Strange New Worlds. The one with the musical episode. I
God.
don't know. I don't know. The show. It's. I don't know where the show's going. I haven't even. I know there's a Vulcan episode coming up with Patton Oswald as a
Hmm.
Vulcan. The
Right.
next episode's called "Through the Lens of Time." So, is time travel involved? I've seen in the
Uh.
trailer. There's one. There's a TNG episode where they see all kinds of doorways that are portals. Do you remember that
Uh.
one? It's a very early season episode, probably season 1 of TNG, where Data goes down to this planet with this weird looking kid, and there's like
Oh yeah, that's right.
doorways to like different places.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen something similar to that in the trailer, so they might do one of those deals. I don't know if that's the
Hmm.
next one or not, but
Hmm. No. You just mentioned the name of the next episode, right? This is like through the looking glass. You said right
Through the lens of time.
through the lens of time. Thank you. Um, could this be an episode where we see Corby Roger Corby's fate?
Does he
Could,
die in What Little Girls Are Made Of? I can't remember.
yes, he does.
Or is he a
Well,
robot? Did he die
yeah,
before and he's a robot in the show, in the
yeah.
episode?
So could this be the death of Roger Corby, which I will be thankful for because I never fucking liked Roger Corby.
But do you remember if in What Little Girls Are Made Of he is real or not?
No, he's
Does he
not
turn
really
out to
just a
be a
robot.
robot?
No,
So
he's a robot.
did they say when he died? When his real body died?
No, they don't.
Oh shit. Well, they could if they didn't say it. They could definitely do it in this episode.
Right.
I'm dying,
Um,
Christine. Get me a matic,
right.
will ye? Oh Jesus Christ! Where's me Lucky Charms? But in
Oh
TOS,
my god.
he's like, oh Christine. He kind of looks like Christoph Waltz, that dude who
Yeah,
played.
it
I don't know.
kind of does. Kind of does. To be honest with you.
Christine, I'm a robot. You
Um,
see, I'm a robot.
yeah, that's crazy. Um, do you have anything else to say?
Not really.
All right.
Well, did we miss anything
All
in the
right.
episode? I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah. We pretty much covered everything.
How do you like my
All right.
lighting? Is it better? Is it
Oh,
better this time?
yes. Yeah. Your lighting uh was a little bit lackluster last time, so your lighting is a lot better.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And my camera was actually dirty, so
Oh, really?
so yeah, I cleaned it up a bit. So yeah. Um, all right, guys. So that'll do it for my review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 4, entitled A Space Adventure Hour. In the comments below, if you have anything to say about this episode, tell us what you liked about it or tell us what you didn't like about it. But before we go, PJ, where can the good folks find you online if they want to watch your content?
You can find me
Oh.
on YouTube at Boatwreck Live. Like and subscribe because nobody does.
Yeah,
I'm
and
funny.
I'm actually on there sometimes shooting the shit about various different things. Like I've said
Yeah,
in other
there's like
episodes.
50 videos of you on there. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
videos. Yeah, you run a lot of times.
I'm there, man.
You're my best streaming partner.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So come and check us, come and check us out over there. We talk about a lot of stuff. But that's a conversation for another day. I will say thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.